Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Shuko Math Practice Lab Algebra 2 lecture series. In this video, we're going to start lesson 1.9. And in this lesson, we're going to learn how to solve compound inequalities here. Okay, so let's take a look at what the worksheet's about. So let me go to the worksheets here. Okay, so here is the worksheets we have. As always, I'm going to do the 6 problems was written in the blue, and then I have several set of the homework for you to do. And so the compound inequality, I also provide a table to tell you what type of the compound inequalities we are working on. We have an and overs, right? So now I'm going to go to the whiteboard and give you a very brief lesson, then we will try to work some of the problems, okay? So I'm going to the whiteboard now. Okay, whiteboard here. Okay, so now let's take a look. What is the compound inequalities? You know, like from our previous video, we talk about the inequalities, right? So we only have one inequality signs, right? So for examples here, we have, you know, we try to solve like 5x plus 4 less than x minus 5. Something like that, right? So I only have like one, right? I only have one inequality signs here. So compound inequalities, that means I have what? I have more than what? I have more than one inequalities. Okay, so we have two kinds of the compound inequalities here. The first kind we call this the AND compound inequality. That means I have two inequalities is AND. So what it means the AND means what? So the AND that means I'm finding the intersections, right? So I'm going to find the intersections of those compound inequalities here. That's what we call this the AND compound inequalities. And now another kind we call it is OR. So the OR compound intersection, the compound inequality, that means I am finding the unions, right? So union of the inequality. So the intersections here, so what do we mean the intersection? That means the what? The common part, right? So it's a common part here. And the union, you just combine them together here, right? Okay, so this is like if the statement is written in the end. Or, you know, like in the mathematics, they could have something like this. This is what we call is the compound inequality. So for example, if I have 3x plus 1 less than 5 and greater than -7, right? So if I'm doing this, this is the compound inequalities here. Why this is the compound inequality is because I have two inequality signs here, right? One is greater than -7, one is less than 5. Okay, so we have the two inequality signs. So when we try to solve this type of problems, just like we did for the inequality, and then instead of doing for one side, you do for both, right? So for the compound, so for the OR compound inequality, they typically will give you the word OR to, you know, to show you they have two sides there. Okay, so that's what the, you know, that's what we call it, it's a compound. That means more than one. So the end is typical, like the problems, if they're written, is written like here, they have like two inequalities, one on the right, one is on the left. Okay, so before we do that, so let's do few review. We key points, right? So the key points when we do the inequality, we talk about in the previous, we talk about in the previous videos here. The first key points here is, do you guys remember? Multiply or divide a negative number. This is we talk about is so important, right? So if you multiply or divide a negative number, then what do you need to do? You need to switch the directions of your inequality sign, right? Well, as we say, this is really the key step, not a key step, a key concept for the inequality. And also then when we talk about the graph, right? So we talk about the graph. So we say if the x greater than a, for example. So because this is opening, so that means the opening is to the x. So we say x is greater than. So we know the greater than. So the graph is go what? So greater than, so graph is go what? Go to the right-hand side of whatever the numbers, right? So that's how we do graph. And also like if you have x is less than a, then what's that mean? Let's mean if it's less than, this is less than, right? Okay, and then we go to the left. We go to the left-hand side, right? So when you try to when you try to graph it in the real number lines here, right? So this is left-hand side. All right. So I think that's it. So if you remember these few key points, especially the one you multiply or divide a negative number, you need to switch the direction of your inequality sign. So don't forget about that. And also like a greater than or less than, if you have like if you have a sum like the equal, that means when you graph it, instead of a circle, you have a what? You have a solid dot, right? Okay, so very good. Okay, so now let's see we can do the problems here. So the first problem is negative 11. So here, this is open to here. So you read less than or equal to 4x minus 3, less than or equal to 1. Like we said, this is a compound inequality because I have two inequality signs. As we talked before, we do it, just treat as we have one. We just do we do the both sides here. So I want to solve for x. So I need to do what? I need to plus 3. So you plus 3 on this end. You plus 3 on this end. Did you see that? So it's just like we did before, right? So you plus 3 here. Okay, now in here, because of your plus 3, right? So these two cancel. So you will have a 4x is less than what? Less than 4. Negative 11 plus 3 is what? Negative 8, right? So my equality sign still hold. And then the next things here, what I need to do here, I want to solve for x, right? So I want to divide it by 4. So if you divide it by 4, your right-hand side need to divide it by 4. Your left-hand side, you need to divide it by 4, right? So 4 and the 4 cancel. So what you have here, you have x is less than or equal to what? 4 divided by 4 is 1. Negative 8 divided by 4 is what? Negative 2. Okay, so if your teacher asks you to write into the interval notation, so x is between negative 1 and 2, so you use a bracket, right? So remember why I use a bracket is because I have what? I have this equal signs, right? So equal sign is bracket. So that means my solution is from negative 2 to 1. All right. So now if I want to try to graph it on the real number lines here, right? So now in here you will say, okay, this is 0, this is 1, 2, 3, this is negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. Okay, so I'm graphing it. So the x, okay, so let's take a look at this one here, right? So x is greater than -2. So where I'm going, go to the right-hand side, right? So greater than, so it's here, right? So it's solid, right? Because it's a dot, because I have equal sign. And the x is less than equal to 1, so 1 is here. X is greater than and less than 1. So here, this is the solutions, right? So if you try to use our definition, so you will say x is less than -2. So it's this side. And the x is greater than -2 is this side. And x less than 1 is this side. Right? Because this is and, so that means where? So this is my common solutions here. That's what I graph it in the green. Okay, so now let's take a look at this one. This is a 10 greater than -5x greater than 5, right? So now in order to solve for x, what I need to do, I need to divide it by 5, divided by -5, divided by -5. All right, so the now -5 cancel. So what I have here is x. 5 divided by -5 is what? Is -1. 10 divided by -5 is what? Is -2, right? Okay, now let's take a look. How about my inequality sign? Do I keep it or I need to switch? So like in here, I know I divide by a -5. So every time I divide by a negative number, so what I need to do, I need to switch, right? So I need to switch to this way, right? So it's x is greater than -2 and less than -1. See here. All right. So now let's try to write it into the interval form. Yes, solution. So x is what? From the -2 to what? -1, right? Because I use parentheses, because it does not have the equal signs here. Good job. Okay, so now let's try to graph it. Right? Okay, so now I'm graphing it. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, -1, -2, -3. And it is telling me it's between -2 and -1. So it's here and here, both is a circle, is in between, so it's here. Right, so if you want to use our end, let's see it's true or not. So read here, right? So it's open to the x, so it's x greater than -2. X greater than go right, so it's this way. Then x less than -1, right? So less than -1, so it's go this way. And because this is the end, so that's why I'm finding the common things here. So that's why this green one is the solution. Okay, so now let's continue here. So now in here, the same ways here, I'm going to solve this inequalities, right? So first things here, I'm -2, -2, -2. All right, so I'm -2, -2, -2. And then, so in here, the 23 minus 2 is what? 21. A minus 2 is 6. And here, the 2 cancels, right? So what I have here, I have 3x's here. So what happened to my inequality sign? Do I keep it or switch it? Well, here I'm keeping it. Why? Because I'm adding a -2. The adding, addition, and the subtraction does not change the inequality sign. The only thing will change if I multiply or divide a negative, right? So here I'm adding a -2, so it doesn't matter. So now in order to solve for x, what I need to do, I divide by 3, I divide by 3, I divide by 3. So I get my x is greater than 2 and less than equal to 7, right? Okay, so now that means that the way you read it is x greater than 2 and x less than 7. So let me try to write it into a, the interval form. So this will be 2. Then the 7th here, because what? Because I have equal signs here. So what I need to have here, I need to have a bracket. Good? Okay. So now let's take a look. How do I graph it in the... So this is 0. So this is -1, -2. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so you tell me it's between 6, 2, and 7. So 2, I put a circle here because does not have equal sign. All the way to where? All the way to 7, right? So it's between, so x is greater than 2 and less than 7, right? So that's what is this solution here. Right, so if you want to use our end definition, so here you read here, this is open to the right, x greater than 2. So x go to the right. Now here's x less than 7, so less than 7 is go to the left. Now let's say and, so that's why this area is the solution areas here. Okay, so far so good? Okay, good. Now let's take a look. The next one's here. So I'm going to see the 4a. So now I have, I still have 2 inequalities. So now I have or, right? So that means I'm still doing twice. Okay, so now in order to solve for a, so here I need to divide by 4, here I divide by 4. So what happens here when you divide by 4? 4, 4 cancel. So a is greater than or equal to -8. Or, so here's already have a, so it's 8 is less than -3. So here, okay, so let's see here, right? So let's see, and oh, I'm sorry here, I'm not careful, haha. Okay, so 8 divided by 4 is -2. All right, now much better, right? Okay, so let's try to graph it. Okay, so here this is so this is 0, 1, 2, 3. This is -1, -2, -3, -4. Okay, so let's try to see what is my solution. So this way is here. This is the, this way you read because opening here, right? So it's a greater than -2. And because I have equal sign, I have here a is greater than -2. Greater than which way? Right ways, right? Go right hand side. Then a is less than -3. So -3 is here, is a circle. And because it's less than go what? Go left. Right? So that is my solution. So here. Got that? You guys get it? All right. Okay, so remember less than is go left, greater than is go right, right? And here, because this is an or, so less means is a union. What do we mean the union? That means you combine the both. That's the solution. So that's the solutions here. Okay, now let's take a look at the problem number 5 here. So I have 2 inequality signs again. So I just solve it separately. So this is x plus 4. Okay, or plus 4 here. All right, and so here I'm going to have what? X is less than equal to what? 14. Okay, now in here, right? So now in here, I'm going to divide by -2, divided by -2. So if I divide by -2, divided by -2, so this is x. 6 divided by -2 is what? -3 is here. Okay, now you immediately alert, right? It's because I'm divided by a negative number. So what happened to my inequality sign? Is it stay the same or I need to switch? I need to switch, right? Because remember, if I multiply or divide by a negative number, I need to switch, right? So that means this one's here will be x is greater than or equal to what? -3 here. So let's see what is this answers here. Okay. Okay. So this is 0, this is 1, -1, -2, -3. So it's x is less than 14 or x is greater than -3 here, right? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, not enough, my line. 12, okay, not much better. 12, 13, 14, 15 here, right? So here's a 5. That's a 10. Okay, so that's good. Okay, so now let's try to graph it, right? Okay, so here we say x is less than equal to 14. Less than is go which way? Go left, right? 14 is go here. Right, so 14 here is solid because it's have equal sign. So I'm go boom, 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 go left is here. All right, then the next one's here is x is greater than equal to -3. So -3 is here. I put a solid, right? It's greater than here. So go which way? Go right. Be very careful, right? Because here, this is or. Okay, so if this is or, that means you combine them. That means everything. So what is the solutions here? So what is the solution for this problem here? It's from what? From the negative infinity to positive infinity, right? Because it's a whole real number, or you can graph it like this, right? So it's just a whole real number because they combined, all right? All right, so now I forgot to do the notations here, right? So the notation we do in here, so this one's here will be negative infinity to -3 parenthesis. And here is bracket -2 to infinity. Because this is or, what are the notation I use? I use unions, right? Okay, combine it. Okay, so now let's take a look at the next one. Next one, they tell us, so it's 15 minus 5x less than 0, and the 5x plus 6 greater than -14. So this is the end, right? Okay, so let's try to solve it first before we worry about that. Okay, so here I will -15 on the both sides, right? Okay. So after you -15, so here this is a -5x. Is less than equal to what? -5. Correct? Okay, now I divide by -5, divided by -5. So x, so -5 divided by -5 is what? It's a -1. Hey, here, do I need to switch this inequality sign? Oh, yes, because I divided by a negative number. So here, what happened here? I need to switch to here. So it's x greater than -1. Okay, now let's take a look at this one here. So this is a -6, a -6, right? So I will have a 5x is greater than -14 minus 6 is what? -20. Now I divide by 5, I divide by 5. So x here, this is -4. Okay, so now let's take a look here. Do I need to switch the inequality sign or not? So in here, it's no, right? So don't get confused about by this -20. This -20 just part of the inequality. The number I divide or multiplied is 5. It's a positive number. It's not negative. So what happened to my inequality? Remain the same here. All right, so it's x greater than -1, x greater than -4. Okay, so let's take a look. How do we graph it, right? Okay, so be careful, it's or, right? All right, so here. So here, this is 0, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. Okay, so let's see here. So the solution here, okay, first one is x greater than equal to -1, greater than, go right. -1 is here, solid, right? Because I have an equal sign. X greater than, so it's this way. All right. Then the next one here is x greater than equal to -4. So here's -4 greater than equal to, so it's here, right? And now is or, right? Because it's or. That means I combined. So what is the final answer? Final answer is here, right? So this is my solution. You combined, right? So that's why you combined this ways here. So how do you write into the, the interval form? So this will be the -4. Then go where? Go infinity. The -4 is a bracket. The reason why is bracket because I have an equal signs here. All right. Okay, that's it. That is the 6th example I did in this video, talk about the compound inequalities here. So remember, right? So it's very important here. The compound interest. So if the compound inequality, if it's and, so your intersection. So what does the intersection mean? That means you find the common parts, right? Then if it's over compound inequality, what's that mean? That means you union. That means you combine both twos, right? That's it. And remember the review we have is this is if you're doing anything to a negative number, if you multiply or you divide by a negative number, do not forget to switch the inequality sign. Okay, that's it. And we have one more lesson for the first unit. Then we're going to start the second unit. So that's very excited. The next lesson, we're going to talk about how to solve the absolute value inequalities, right? We did a previous video talk about how to solve the absolute value equations. And now we're going to take a look at how to solve the absolute value inequality. It's so nice to talk to you. If you like the video, and feel free to subscribe my channel. So every time a new video post, you will get notified. Okay. If you have any questions or you have any requests, feel free to send me an email at shikomathlab@gmail.com. I have that email address at the introduction slide. You can flip back, go to the beginning of the video. You will see my email address there. It's so nice to talk to you, and you have a good day. And I'm looking forward to talk to you for the last section about this unit, is how to solve the inequality for the absolute value. Okay, bye, and you have a good day, Slayer. All right.